Sige, let's start. So the first question is this, okay? So remember in CD, it's not only about your communicable diseases and yung signs and symptoms and the interventions, but your CD will also cover concepts on immunity. So this will also include an understanding of your basic concepts of immunity. Itong tanong sa question. So question, when is it is impossible to determine whether a patient has been immunized against tetanus. So a question about immunization tayo. Okay, the preparation of choice used to produce passive immunity for several weeks with minimum danger of allergic reaction is. Okay? Sige, tinan natin. Anong sagot dyan, guys? So answer kayo sa comment section. Anong answer natin dito? Is it DTP vaccine, tetanus toxoid, tetanus antitoxin, o tetanus immunoglobulin? Okay? So, sagot kayo. Sagot kayo dito sa question na to. The more na sumasagot kayo, mas active yung brains nyo na matututunan nyo itong tanong na to. Okay? Kasi you're exercising eh. So, sagot kayo. The more na nagsasagot kayo, mas matututunan nyo to. Okay? So, yan, nakita ko nyo na yung mga answers nyo. Alright? Okay. So, this is a concept again for immunity. So, yan na, nakasagot na. Nakasagot na. Okay. So, let's have a quick review of your immunity. So, remember guys that we have what we call an acquired immunity. So, there's two basic types. Natural immunity and acquired immunity. So, itong concept na to, acquired immunity na tayo. Ibig sabihin na hindi siya existing sa katawan agad. There has to be an exposure to the pathogen or there has to be, yun nga, an introduction of external immunity inside your body. So, dalawang type yan. Active immunity versus passive. Pag sinabi nating active immunity, there's two types, natural and artificial. Pag sinabi mong natural, ibig sabihin, na-acquire mo yung type of immunity on natural processes. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon ka ng illness. Okay, nagkasakit ka. Sabi dito, antibodies are activated, lymphocytes are produced as a result of infection. So, ibig sabihin, let's say, nagkaroon ka ng flu, nag-develop ng antibodies yung katawan mo sa flu. That's your, bakit? Kasi nag-introduce tayo ng vaccine. So, pag nag-introduce ka ng vaccine, whether that is pinahinang type ng virus or part or patay na virus or part no, let's say DNA or RNA ng virus. When you introduce that to your body will, okay, your body will produce antibodies against those foreign pathogens. So that's your artificial active immunity. Next naman na type is your passive immunity. So pag sinabi mong passive, may kailangan bang gawin yung katawan? Wala, kasi nga passive. So, dalawa din to. Natural passive, yung natural passive immunity, pag sinabi mong passive immunity, nurses, the key here is what? You already have antibodies. The body receives antibodies. So, tumatanggap siya ng antibodies. Okay? So, natural passive, tumatanggap ka ng antibody mula sa mother mo. Through what? Through the placenta and colostrum. So, baby to, no? Kaya nga ini-encourage natin ang breastfeeding, di ba? Breastfeeding, bakit? Kasi, especially the first letdown ng milk, you have the colostrum which is very rich in antibodies. Alright? So, yan yung natural passive. Dalawa lang yan. Nakukuha ng fetus mula sa mother through the placenta and nakukuha ng infant when the infant drinks milk from the mother, which has the colostrum. Alright? So, yan yung natural passive immunity. Next is your artificial passive immunity. Pag sinabi mong artificial, i-inject sa body yung antibody. Okay? So, pwedeng na-produce to ng isang infected na person or animal or in vitro, ginawa sa lab and given to a healthy host. So, binibigay yung antibody. Okay? So, these are your type of immunity. Ngayon, balik tayo dun sa question. Okay? So, ngayon na nag-review tayo. So, ngayon, itong question na to, significant yung tinakal natin ngayon. Bakit? Tinatanong dito is what? Passive immunity. Okay? Nurses, pag sumasagot ng board exam question, make sure that you take note of your keywords. So, sinabi dito, the preparation of choice used to what? Produce passive immunity. So, ibig sabihin, sa choices, tatanggalin na natin lahat ng active immunity. So, ano ang active immunity dyan? Of course, your what? Vaccine. Active immunity yan, di ba? Anong type of immunity yan? Okay? Artificial, active. Okay? Artificial, active immunity yan. How about your tetanus toxoid? Okay? Your tetanus toxoid is what? This one is classified actually under artificial active immunity din. Okay? So your tetanus toxoid is also artificial active. Okay? So, itong next, tetanus antitoxin. So, when you say antitoxin, remember ha, your Clostridium tetani produces toxins. And this one, antitoxin counters that. So, hindi siya, ano to? So, this one actually is a passive immunity. Okay? Ito ay antibodies na binibigay. Pero these ones are what? These are passive yan, passive, and these are produced by animals. Okay? Animal source, usually horse, kabayo. Okay? Pag sinabi mong tetanus immunoglobulin, pag IG, okay, this is also passive. Immunoglobulin na nga, di ba? Binigay mo na yung antibodies, and these are human source. Okay? So ngayon, ano pang tanong? Ang nakalagay passive immunity, na-eliminate na natin si A and B. Ngayon, C and D na lang tayo. Ano pang nakalagay dito sa question? Several weeks within minimal danger of allergic reaction. So ano ang mas safe? Animal or human in terms of severe allergic reactions? So usually, your animal sources mas prone siya to develop, okay, to develop allergic reactions. So, hindi siya ganun ka-safe in terms of allergic reactions. Remember, human source will be better. Okay? So, here, the answer is what? Tumama ba yung mga answer nyo kanina? Okay? Sige, tumama ba? Tingnan natin, ano yung mga sagot nyo kanina? Letter? Letter D. Okay? Letter D yung ating answer. So, tumama? O, sana tumama kayo, no? So, but don't worry kung hindi pa kayo tumama. Ngayon, natutunan nyo na yung concept. Bakit yun yung sagot? Okay? So, don't forget those concepts. Umiikot dito sa konseptong tuminsan yung mga tanong ng BON. Hindi kayo tatanungin which of the following, sasabihin, which of the following, bibigyan kayo ng definition. Tatanungin which is active, artificial, natural, passive, hindi. Usually yan, kung titingnan nyo tong question na to, kombinasyon na to ng concepts. Alam mo kung ano yung tetanus, alam mo yung iba-ibang kind of vaccines at antibodies. So you really need to not only memorize but also apply and critically analyze your concepts. Okay? Sige, next question tayo. Number 2. Okay, so same pa rin tayo na konsepto ha. So tinuro ko na sa inyo. So same pa rin yung konsepto na pumapailalim sa question na to. So during a health education session, a participant asks the nurse how a vaccine can protect from future exposures. Okay, to diseases against which she is vaccinated. What would be the nurse's best response? So tinatanong ka, ano yung mechanism of action ng vaccination? O, ano daw ang sagot mo, nurse? O, sagot kayo dito, nurses. The vaccine causes an antibody response in the body. Letter B, the vaccine responds to an infection in the body after it occurs. The vaccine is similar to an antibiotic that is used to treat an infection. Or the vaccine actively attacks the microorganism. Sige, sagot, guys. Sagot. Sagot kayo. Okay? So remember again ha, di ba your vaccine is what? It's part of your artificial immunity. Active, passive, active, di ba? So vaccine, okay, sorry. Okay, yan. So, vaccine. Ano bang ginagawa ng vaccine? So, your vaccine will be introduced into your body. Tama? Tapos, your body, since it will detect this particular vaccine na part siya ng isang virus or pinahinang form ng virus or bacteria, magre-react ngayon yung body. Okay? Magpuproduce siya ng antibodies against this foreign material. So, those are what vaccines are. Ano ngayon ang hindi vaccine dito? Letter D, vaccine actively attacks the microorganism. No, that's not your vaccine. That's your antibiotic, or your antiviral. So, depende ngayon kung ano yung type of microorganism mo. So, this one is incorrect. So, the vaccine is similar to an antibiotic that is used to treat an infection. No, that is not correct. So, your antibiotic and your vaccines are not similar. Your vaccines are given in advance, hindi to treat an infection. Your vaccine is given to you so that your body can have an enhanced immune response to this infection. Okay, so that one is incorrect. Letter B, vaccine responds to an infection in the body after it occurs. Okay, so hindi. This one is not a vaccine. This one is your natural active immunity where your body, pag nagkasakit ka, magproproduce ngayon ng antibody yung body mo dahil nagkasakit ka nga. So, this one is incorrect. So, anong tamang sagot natin? Vaccine causes an antibody response in the body. This one is the best answer. Okay? So, you got that? Yan. So, tumama yung ating mga nurses. Tingnan ko yung mga sagot nyo. Yes, tumama. Very good. Next, number 3. Okay, so another concept tayo. Alright. So this one, malaria naman. Okay, so nandito na tayo sa ating mga infectious diseases. Malaria continues to be a major health problem in the Philippines. It requires sustained and systemic efforts toward prevention of transmission through vector control and early detection and treatment of malarial cases. So the nurse is reviewing the physical examination and a laboratory test of a client with malaria. Okay, the nurse understands that an important finding on malaria is. So, ano yung important finding? So, meaning to say, a sign or a symptom of your malaria. Okay? Sige nga, sagot, nurses, sagot. Okay. Ito, guys, very, very important with your communicable diseases. Okay? Usually, parang most of the students will just memorize, no? Ito yung sakit, ito yung signs and symptoms. Pero ako, next ko lang. Okay. Ako, very, very important yung maintindihan nyo yung life cycle ng malaria. Okay? Bakit ko sinasabi important maintindihan yung life cycle? Ang life cycle is very important because from the life cycle, maiintindihan nyo ano yung mode of transmission ng infectious agent. You can also determine the signs and symptoms of the disease. Kasi pag alam mo kung saan yan nag-grow, saan nag-multiply yung infectious agent, saan parte ng katawan pumapasok, saan parte ng katawan lumalabas, saan parte ng katawan nag-multiply yung adult, makikita mo yung signs and symptoms kasi doon nga sila nag-house. Diba? What else? With that, you will also be able to determine your nursing interventions. Kaya guys, hindi pwedeng puro memorize lang tayo. Kailangan naiintindihan natin yung life cycle ng ating infectious diseases. So ito ngayon, makikita nyo dito is the life cycle of what? Okay, zoom ko lang nakita na ba? Yan. This is the life cycle of your malaria. So again, what's your malaria? Okay, so your malaria is a protozoan. Okay? Protozoan siya. Hindi siya virus, hindi siya bacteria. It's a protozoan. Klaro? O nurses sa amin mga nagkakamali dyan. Tinatanong ng BON, last February, last November, ano tong infection na to? Virus ba to? Bacteria? Protozoan? Pero kung alam niyo itong life cycle, katulad nito, yung tuturo ko sa inyo, kung alam niyo to, hindi kayo malilito. Kasi alam mo na your malaria is a protozoan. Kasi makikita mo diyan, ano ba itsura niya? Ay, ano? So ngayon guys, kailangan maintindihan natin tong life cycle na to. So ngayon, para hindi kayo mahilo, all of my life cycles, para sa akin yung pinaka-comprehensive is coming from the CDC. So download nyo tong mga photos na to because this will be really helpful for you. So, letter A. Okay? Letter A muna tayo. Dito tayo sa exoerythrocytic cycle. So, ang gagawin mo dito, pagbasahan natin yung number 1. So, unang-una muna, syempre, so, ano daw yung scabies? So, lumalabas na yung mga ganong tanong na yan. O later, i-discuss natin yung scabies kasi parang hindi na kayo malito. Okay? So, your malaria, of course, your mosquito is what we call a what? A vector. Okay? So, vector yung iyong mosquito. So, yung mosquito mo, may dala-dala yan na, okay, may dala-dala yan na tinatawag nating sporocyte. Sporozoite. Yung sporozoite, yun yung infectious stage ng ating malaria. So, papasok yan sa katawan, and then iikot yung sporozoite na yan sa ating, sabi dito, exoerythrocytic cycle. So, pagpasok, liver cell muna yung tinatarget niya. So, ano tinatarget? Liver cell. So, sa liver cell, nag-grow yung ating malaria, yung ating sporozoite. From a sporozoite, anong nangyayari? Nagiging schizont siya. Pagkatapos, magra-rupture yung kanyang liver cell, marami ng schizonts. So, from the schizont, okay, iikot din yan sa blood. Alright? So, that's what you call your erythrocytic cycle or your blood stage or your blood cycle. So, in the blood, umiikot na ngayon yung schizont na nagiging trophozoite. Yung trophozoite mo, it can be a gametocyte or it can also be a schizont. Tapos iikot na naman. Yung nagpaparami talaga niyan, pinaka nagpaparami sa loob ng katawan is your schizont. Nagra-rupture siya, paulit ng paulit-ulit. So remember, where is your malaria? It's in what? Liver and the blood. So sa blood, tinatarget niya yung RBC. Okay? RBC ang tinatarget niya. So ngayon, dito naman tayo sa pag na-form siya na gametocyte, yung gametocyte mo, it will be a male or a female, and yun yung kukunin. Ngayon, yung mosquito, kakagat na naman yung mosquito ng isang taong may malaria, at pag nakagat ng mosquito yung taong yun, dadalhin niya yung gametocyte naman. Okay? Yung gametocyte na yan, sa loob, yung sporogenic cycle, that's inside your mosquito. So, sa loob ng isang mosquito, makikita mo, di ba, magiging from a gametocyte, magiging microgametocyte, nagkakaroon ng buntot, tapos macrogametocyte, at nag-e-evolve siya, uusis until maging sporozoites. So, yan yung life cycle ng ating malaria. Okay? So, clear ba yan? So ngayon, pag naiintindihan mo kung ano yung nangyayari sa malaria, madali na lang ngayon sagutin sa'yo to. Okay? So ulit, sagot. Anong tinatanong dito? This is an important finding on malaria. Ano nga ulit yung stages natin? Meron tayong liver, meron tayong blood stage. Diba? So ngayon, ano dito yung affected? Tingnan natin. Letter D. Letter D, erythrocytosis. Ano yung erythrocytosis? That's your what? Increased RBC. Okay? So usually, your RBC is not, increased RBC is not associated with malaria kasi ano bang nangyayari? Remember, tina-target yung RBC mo ng malaria, okay? At dinidestroy niya yung RBC. So erythrocytosis ba yan? Hindi. It's the opposite. Okay? So dapat yung RBC mo hindi mataas, supposedly mababa. Alright? Polyuria. Polyuria is not a typical finding in your malaria. Okay? Next, leukocytosis. Yung leukocytosis, ano yung leukocytosis? Di ba? Increase in what? WBC. Your malaria, hindi naman WBC ang specifically tinatarget niya. Ano ulit? RBC. Okay? So, yung RBC, yung WBC mo, usually pwedeng normal. Okay? Normal. Or slightly, what? Slightly decreased. Slightly decreased siya. Okay? So, slightly decreased yan. So, hindi dapat leukocytosis. So, anong sagot? Splenomegaly. So, ngayon, bakit splenomegaly? Remember, your RBC is being what? Your RBC is being destroyed. And ano ba yung organ natin na naglilinis ng blood natin? Naglilinis ng RBCs natin? Your spleen. And your spleen can be bigger and bigger because it is overworked. Diba? O tama si Creutzfeldt Jacobs, diba? Jacobs. Graveyard ng RBC. So dahil maraming destroyed ng RBC, maraming trabaho ngayon yung spleen mo. And pwedeng magkaroon ng splenomegaly. So nakuha po. Nakuha from here. yung nangyayari. Okay? So that's our correct answer, letter C, splenomegaly. Okay? All right. Okay? So next. Okay. So another disease associated with a mosquito as a vector is of course your what? Dengue. Okay? And our dengue test, one of the pinakamabilis na dengue test ay ito. Okay? Rumpolid capillary fragility test. Okay, it's a clinical diagnostic method performed to determine possible dengue infection. Which of the following steps done by the nurse would be considered incorrect? Okay, nurses, be careful dun sa ating question. Anong tinatanong dito ngayon? Anong tinatanong? Okay, which one is what? Incorrect. Okay, so sagot. Anong sagot natin dito? Yes, this is also called the tourniquet test. So, nurses you have to remember the names din kasi hindi necessarily tourniquet test yung ibibigay sa'yo agad ng BON. Pwedeng pahirapan ka niyan. Okay? So, which is considered incorrect? So, sagot tayo, nurses. Sagot. Oh, ano yung incorrect dyan? Ano daw yung hindi tama dyan? Ano yung incorrect? Okay? So, ano ba yung ating tourniquet test? Right? So, di ba yung tourniquet test, we use our BP, we inflate, okay? We inflate the blood pressure cuff, di ba? So, saan pinoposition yung blood pressure cuff? Saan pinoposition yung blood pressure cuff? Pag nag-i-inflate tayo for our tourniquet test, ini-inflate siya what? Upper arm, not lower arm. Okay? Okay? So, anong ginagawa natin? So, i-inflate siya, tama? And magta-timing tayo. So, usually around 5 minutes. Tapos, after na 5 minutes, okay, so inflate the blood pressure of the cuff, di ba? Inflate nyo, tapos maghintay ng 5 minutes, and then you will observe. After the 5-minute mark, i-deflate mo siya. Pagkatapos, titingnan nyo yung antecubital fossa. Okay? Titignan nyo kung magkakaroon ng petechiae o petechiae. So, ilang petechiae yan? Okay? So, usually 10 or more per 1 inch square. So, mag-drawing ka ng 1 inch square. So, usually, 20 pataas ang positive. Okay? 20 pataas ang positive. Okay? So, tignan natin, anong hinahanap natin dito? This one, we are looking for the incorrect. Okay? So, letter A, a test is positive when 25 petechiae per 1 inch square are observed. Tama ba yan? Yes, kasi 20 and above eh. So, this one is a correct statement about that's a correct statement about your tourniquet test. Next, letter B, count the number of petechiae inside the box. Tama, di ba? That's a correct step that you do for your tourniquet test. How about this? Release the cuff and make an imaginary 2.5 cm square or 1 inch square just below the cuff at the antecubital fossa. This one is correct. So ano ngayon yung mali? By point of elimination, inflate the blood pressure cuff on what? Bakit nagkamali dito? Lower arm. But saan ka ba nag-inflate dapat? Nag-inflate ka sa upper arm. Kaya to mali. Okay? Upper arm to dapat. Okay? So, anong tamang sagot? You are looking for an incorrect statement. So, yun nurses, ako pag dati noon, pag nag-apa-practice ako or even no actual board exam, medyo madumi talaga yung aking questionnaire. Okay? Kasi binibilugan ko yan. So, anong sagot? Letter D. So, incorrect ang hinahanap. Okay? So, tumama ba? Tumama ba kayo, mga nurses? Tama ba yung sagot nyo? Okay? Alright. Sige. So, this next concept, ayan. Okay, this next concept is about your herpes zoster. Alright? Okay. So, tingnan natin to. Mr. Clotty, okay, age 50, is seen by the physician and suspects herpes zoster. What should Nurse Graniels expect to find during the initial assessment of Mr. Clotty? Okay? So, yan, sagot. Tingnan nyo yung choices. A, rhinorrhea, small red lesions, including some with vesicles that are widespread over the face and body. Next, a painful vesicular eruption following a nerve pathway. Letter C, blisters on the lips and in the corners of the mouth. And letter D, painful fluid-filled vesicles in the genital area. Okay, anong sagot nyo dyan? So, ito na yung sinasabi ko, guys, na kailangan alam niyo yung mga lesions characterizing yung iba-ibang infectious agents. So, ano bang sinasabi dito? Meron tayong what? Herpes zoster. So, mag-review muna tayo. Okay? So, ito may review, guys, ha? Kasi yung sagot natin iba-iba na. Okay? So, herpes zoster, okay? So, your herpes zoster can be two. Okay? So, chickenpox, yan. So, dalawa yung pwede mangyari. Pag bata pa, chickenpox yan. Okay? Chickenpox. Tapos, anong usual characteristics niyan? So, usually red papules, pero pwede rin siya maging fluid-filled vesicles. So, inutsura, ganyan. Okay? From the trunk, palabas. Okay? Tama ba? So, from the trunk, palabas ang start ng lesion. So, importante yan ha, maintindihan nyo yan ha, kung saan nagsisimula din yung lesions. Kasi, characteristic yan na ine-emphasize ng chickenpox. Okay? Pero, yung herpes zoster, pwedeng magkaroon ng reactivation yan. In later years, okay, pag tumanda na, pwedeng magkaroon ng reactivation yung ating herpes zoster. At pang nangyayari yon, okay, herpes zoster, nagkaroon siya ng reactivation, pag matanda na, usually nagkakaroon yan ng ganito. So, stripe of blisters, tas usually very painful to, okay? Painful to kasi what? They are located along the nerve pathways. Okay? Sorry. Usually along nerve pathways yan lumalabas. Okay? So, yun yung kinaibagahan ha, nurses. Remember, the herpes is the same infectious agent, pero ang pinagkaibahan niya, age ng pagkakaroon, usually pag bata pa, chickenpox. Pag matatanda na, nagkaroon na reactivation, it's called your shingles. Okay. Diba? Yan yung herpes zoster. So, ngayon, nagbago ba yung sagot nyo? O, kanina may sagot A, may nagsagot B. So, ngayon, ano na yung sagot? Okay, rhinorrhea, small red lesions, including some with vesicles that are widespread over the body, mas mukha tong what? Mas mukha tong chicken pox rather than, so bakit, paano ko nalaman na hindi to chicken pox, guys? Anong age ng ating patient? 50. So, mas ano yan, di ba? Mas shingles siya rather than chickenpox. Nakuha o nakita niyo yung level of analysis na ginawa natin doon, di ba? Oh, so chickenpox, tas yung letter B, ito yung shingles. Tama? Okay. Letter C, blisters on the lips and in the corners of the mouth. This one is more common in what? Oral herpes. Okay? Or what you call your herpes simplex type 1. Okay? Ito naman, letter D, pain, fluid-filled vesicles in the genital area. This is your genital herpes. Okay? So, her oral herpes, HSV1. Ito naman, genital, it's your HSV2. So, nakuha nyo yung nurses, di ba? So, ganyan yung type ng board exam questions. Hindi lang memorize. Okay, you need to analyze. 2 beses kang sumagot dito. Dinetermine mo kung ano yung disease condition, tapos dinetermine mo ano yung assessment findings natin. Okay? So, anong sagot natin? Of course, letter B. Letter B is the correct answer. Chickenpox and shingles, another high-yield question is this. Rubiola. Okay? Sige nga, future nurses, what is rubiola? So, ang tanong dito, the characteristic signs of rubiola are which of the following group? So, ngayon, binigyan ka ng signs and symptoms. Pinapa-identify sa'yo anong ang rubiola dyan. O, ito na yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, nurses, diba? Kailangan maintindihan nyo ano yung pathophysiology, ano yung itsura ng mga infectious diseases kasi it will help you classify. Okay? So, letter A, rashes which spread from the face to the trunk. Okay? Limbs, conjunctivitis, high fever, and tiny white spots in the mucosa inside the cheek. Letter B, skin eruptions which are abundant on covered areas of the body more than the exposed areas. Letter C, vomiting, headache, fine petechial, morbilliform rashes, and epistaxis. Or letter D, severe backache and rashes which are abundant on the extremities than on the trunk. Okay? So guys, this is what? Rubiola. Ano yung rubiola? So, review lang tayo. So, rubiola is the etiologic agent for your measles. So, ano ba si measles? Ayan, no? So, your measles is an infectious disease, okay, affecting the upper respiratory tract. So, ang manifestations niya, kung makikita nyo ha, i-zoom in ko ng konti, ayan. Anong itsura ng lesions niyan? Rash first appears on the face and the neck and spreading quickly to cover the body. Yan ang isang karakteristik niya. Tapos, anong mode of transmission? It's airborne. So, highly communicable ang measles. Incubation period, 10 and 14 days. 10 pag fever. So, nagkakaroon ng fever usually on the 10th day and then rashes on the 14th day. So, anong period of communicability? Ito sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina nurses na kailangan yung i-master at kailangan yung tandaan, kaya mag-index cards. Okay? Period of communicability, nakakahawa siya kailan? 4 days before. Ibig sabihin, wala pang rashes. Okay? So, pag wala pang rashes, 4 days before that, nakakahawa na siya. Pag nagkaroon na ng rashes, no? 4 days before and 5 days after the appearance of the rashes. Nakakahawa pa din siya. Okay, so very important to note yan ha. Pag i-educate natin kay mother, tatanungin natin kailan lumabas yung rashes. So yan yung ating review ng ating measles. What else? Sa measles, we have of course pre-eruptive, ibig sabihin wala pa tayong fever. Wala pa tayong rashes. Nagkakaroon tayo ng fever, nagkakaroon ng symptoms, na catarrhal symptoms such as rhinitis, conjunctivitis, photophobia, and coryza. And you have what you call your complete spot. Ito yan ha, yung nasa picture na yan. Yan yung pathognomonic sign ng measles. So guys, remember, pathognomonic signs, these are hallmark signs of your measles. Okay? So first in, first out. So ibig sabihin, saan unang lumabas? Mukha muna, di ba? Mukha pababa. Okay? So unang lumabas sa mukha, una ding mawawala yung rashes sa mukha. Okay? So tingnan natin, balikan natin yung question. Ano ba yung question? So, anong question dito? Ano yung rubiola? So, rashes which spread, tingnan natin, unahin muna natin letter D. Severe backache and rashes which are more abundant on the extremities than on the trunk. So, actually, maraming disease conditions na ganito. So, medyo vague itong letter D. So, this is not the correct answer. Letter C, vomiting, headache, fine petechial and morbilliform rashes and epistaxis. This is quite descriptive of dengue. Okay? Next, skin eruptions, which are abundant on covered areas of the body rather than exposed areas. This is another term. Pag sinasabi mo yung rashes ay nasa trunk going out. So, pag mas marami nasa trunk, usually, chicken pox. So, letter A is, diba? Tingnan natin nga, rashes which spread from face to trunk, tama. May conjunctivitis, may high fever, and tiny white spots. Anong tawag dyan? Koplik spots. So, this is your letter A. That's your rubiola or your measles. Nakuha? Tama? Alright. Next. Okay. Sorry. Meron pa palang concepts na nakalimutan i-share kanina. May isa pa palang slide. So, rash, usually 4 to 5 days, di ba? So, una muna sa face yan. Pero sa face, usually nauuna saan? Cheeks, bridge of nose, along the hairline, and temple of the earlobe. Pero walang batok. Okay? Ano pa? Anorexia, irritability, pruritus, and sa stage of convalescence, nag-fade na yung rashes from face, kung saan unang lumabas, pababa. Okay? Alright. So, rubiola pa rin tayo. So, nurses, answer this question. A nursing intervention that is important in caring for Basilio who has rubiola would include the following except. So, kaninahan naintindihan nyo na yung pathophysiology at saka ano yung mga signs and symptoms ng ating disease condition. So, dito papasok yung nursing interventions natin. Kaya nga nurses, important ang analysis. Hindi lang memorize, kailangan may understanding and may analysis ka ng questions at saka ng disease condition. Kasi si BON mo, tatanungin ka kung anong gagawin mo as a nurse. So, sige guys, sagot. Anong sagot nyo dito? Letter A, wearing of face mask when administering nursing care to the child. Letter B, increase fluid intake of the child by drinking water frequently. Letter D, administer prescribed antipyretics to reduce fever. Or letter D, ensuring that the room is well lighted. Anong sagot? Anong sagot natin? Okay? So, letter A, except kasi yung hinahanap ha. So, ano dapat yung included sa interventions? Letter A, wearing face mask. Yes, because what? Airborne yan eh. Okay? So, you have to protect yourself from getting the disease condition. Letter B, increasing fluid intake of the child. Yes, because you have fever. You need to do your fever management. Letter C, administer prescribed antipyretics. Yes, may fever, di ba? Pero letter D, bakit letter D yung sagot? Ensuring that the room is well lighted. Remember that your patient may have conjunctivitis. So, masakit na yung mata ng patient natin. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng well-lighted. Masisilaw si patient, masakit yan sa mata. So, tama ba yung hinahanap natin? Except, so we are looking for a wrong, okay? Wrong intervention, and the correct answer is letter D. So, tama kayo. Alright? Okay. Next concept. Okay, hepatitis tayo. Okay? Okay, guys. Hepatitis. The nurse taking care of the patient is correct in identifying which of the following statement as true regarding hepatitis B transmission. Hepatitis virus transmission. Okay? Letter E. Blood, saliva, semen, and vaginal secretions contain low hepatitis B virus. Letter B. Urine, feces, and sweat contain high hepatitis B virus titers. Letter C. After a needle stick injury, the risk of the healthcare worker acquiring hepatitis B is greater from an HBsAg patient compared to the risk of acquiring HIV from an HIV positive patient. Letter D. Okay? The risk of transmission after needle stick injury is increased if the source is HBeAg. Okay? Alright. So guys, konting review tayo ng ating HEPA concepts. So medyo iba-iba yung sagot natin. Ano? So okay lang yan. Okay lang yan sa ngayon. Ang tinatanong ha, which is correct. So review tayo ng konti. So what is your hepatitis virus? Okay, hepatitis, HEPA, that is your liver. Inflammation of the liver, hepatitis, inflammation of the liver. So usually, this one, kasi pag sinabi mo inflammation of the liver, it can be caused by other things. Pero dito pinag-uusapan natin yung viral infection. Okay? So usually, the etiologic agent is 5 strains of your HEPA virus, A, B, C, D, and E. Nurses, high yield question to ha. High yield board exam concept to. I-zoom ko ng konti. Okay? Ayan, nakikita? So, these are the types of hepatitis. Para madali nating tandaan, eating, E. Eating, pagkain. Anong first 2 letters ng eating? Eating ha. First 2 letters ng eating, E and A. Okay? Anong first 2 letters? E and A. So, hepatitis, eat, E and A. Okay? E and A. Both of these are mode of transmission nito ay eating contaminated food or drinking contaminated water. O, di ba madaling tandaan? Eat, hepatitis E and A, eat. Okay? And then your BCD, these are the ones that have MOT or mode of transmission through contact with the blood or bodily fluids of an infected person. And yung C naman is blood death. Okay? So, BCD. Ang isang kailangan mong tandaan pa, na si hepatitis D, hindi magkakaroon ng isang patient ng hepatitis D kung ang patient na yon ay walang hepatitis B. So, which hepatitis go hand in hand? It's hepatitis D and B. Okay? Prerequisite na may hepatitis B ang isang patient bago siya magkaroon ng hepatitis D. Okay? So, ano pang kailangan nating tandaan dito? So, of course, yung MOT natin, yung mode of transmission, pag alam na natin yung prevention. So, dun sa ating EAT, hepatitis E and A, of course, practicing good hygiene, vaccine, and also avoidance of eating contaminated food, drink, and water. Okay? Sa hepatitis B, C, D naman, of course, good hygiene pa rin, pero kailangan na we are also practicing the blood and bodily fluid handling or blood and body fluid precautions. Okay? And also the handling of your of your what? Your syringes or your sharps. Nurses, very, very careful tayo dyan. Okay? So, ano pa yung isa pa kailangan natin tandaan na concept dito? Okay? Zoom out ko. Ito kasi, nurses, kasama to dun sa tanong. Di ba? Ang daming nakapaloob na konsepto sa iisang tanong. So, ito, alright, these are your important Hepa B blood tests. So, medyo ang daming binabasa, pero ito, tulungan ko kayo matandaan to easily. Okay? So, HBsAg. HBsAg. S, surface antigen. Okay? Pag sinabi mong surface antigen, nadedetect to na may actual presence ng surface antigen in your blood. So, meaning to say, may active na infection. May infection si patient. Actual presence of hepatitis virus in the blood. Alright? HBsAg. Hepatitis B surface antigen. Next, anti-HBs or HBsAb. HBsAb, antibody. So, ibig sabihin nito, may antibody ang isang person. Pag meron siyang HBsAb, meron siyang antibody. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng nagpabakuna si patient or si nurse, or pwedeng nagkaroon na siya ng past infection. Okay? Protected against hepatitis B virus siya pag mataas yung HBsAb niya. Next, anti-HBc or HBc. AB, B core antibody yan. CAB, hepatitis B core antibody. Ang ibig sabihin lang nito, meron siyang past or current hepatitis B infection. Okay? Last, hepatitis B. Hepatitis B E antigen. HBeAg. Paano madaling matatandaan tong hepatitis B E AG? E means early. Sorry, nasulat ko. Early. Ibig sabihin, sa early phase ng hepatitis infection, expected mo na mataas yung HBeAg niya. Okay? Early phase ng hepatitis B infection. Tapos, ang meron ding information nito is mataas yung kanyang viral infectivity. So, pag mataas ang HBe, early antigen, mataas ang chance na makahawa siya. Okay? So, yan yung mga concepts ha. O, balikan natin yung tanong. Ito na yung tanong. Okay? So, which one is correct? Correct, ha? Hinahanap natin correct about hepatitis B virus transmission. Letter A, blood, saliva, semen, vaginal secretions. Low ba? Hindi siya low. Kasi HB, hepatitis B, is, okay, mode of transmission yan, blood and bodily fluid. So, hindi yan low. High yan. Okay? That's incorrect. Next, urine, feces, sweat contain high hepatitis B virus titers. Remember, ano yung napapasa through eating? EA, hepatitis EA. Yun yung napapasa ng orophycal transmission. So, yung urine and feces mo, hindi yan high ng hepatitis B. Okay? Hepatitis E and A yan. Alright? Letter C, after a needle stick injury, the risk of the healthcare worker acquiring hepatitis B, kinompare niya, guys. Yun lang yung ibig sabihin itong statement na to. Kino-compare niya kung mataas pa yung chance na magkaroon ng hepatitis B kung ang needle stick injury mo ay HBsAg positive na patient versus HIV positive patient. Guys, walang ganyang klaseng comparison. If you are both exposed sa pares positive, wala yung comparison. Pwede kang magkaroon ng HIV at saka HBsAg kung na-expose ka dun sa patient na meron yan. Ngayon, letter D. Tingnan natin, tama ba yung letter D? Risk of transmission after needle stick injury is increased if the source, that's if the source is HBeAg positive. Ano nga ulit to? HBe, early antigen. Ano ulit ibig sabihin pag may early antigen? Early phase ng sakit at saka mataas na what? Viral infectivity. So, mas mataas ang chance ang magkaroon ng patient, ng needle stick injury? Yes, letter D is correct. Okay? So, nakuha natin yung nurses. Paano natin sinagot yung concept na to? Okay. So, that's your hepatitis. So, medyo marami tayong concepts ha, kasi na-apply natin. Okay? Alright. So, after ng hepatitis B infection natin, okay? Next concept naman tayo. Clear naman, nurses? Narinig niyo pa ako? Okay, clear pa naman. Alright. Last week, I discussed some of the soil-transmitted helminths. Okay, this one is another parasite. So, kung na-miss nyo yung rasyo ko last week, you can follow me here on TikTok. Nasa bio ko yung aking YT channel and in-upload ko naman yung mga recording ng aking rasyo dun sa YT channel ko. Okay, let's read the question. Mrs. Shuria brings her 4-year-old daughter Trish to the pediatrician because she lost weight, is quite irritable, and has intense perianal pruritus that causes continuous scratching sa perianal area. The mother suspects that her daughter has worms. So, ano kaya tong worms na to? Remember, hallmark, perianal pruritus, continuous scratching, what? During, ano to? Okay? So, lost weight, irritable, ano kaya to? Anong? So, remember nurses, sinasabi ko lagi, pag CD, kailangan alam nyo kung ano yung life cycle ng infectious agent kasi doon mo makikita yung signs and symptoms. So, this actually, what is being described is what? This is your, okay? Anong infectious agent to? Ito yan. Konting review tayo. So, this is what you call your enterobiasis or your Enterobius vermicularis. So, this one is also called the pinworm. Okay? Anong mode of transmission yan? Pwede mong makain, pwede mong ma-inhale yung eggs. Incubation period usually 1 to 2 months. So, yun yung itsura ng enterobiasis. And ang pinaka-hallmark niyan, zoom ko lang, kaya sinasabi ko nga sa inyo, importante na alam nyo yung life cycle. So, Enterobius vermicularis, of course, ang mangyayari dyan, syempre may inhale or may ingest ng isang pasyente yung egg. Okay? So, pag na-ingest na niya yung egg, yung embryo sa loob ng egg ay mag-hatch. Magkakaroon ng larva. Yung larva nahahatch siya sa small intestine. Ngayon, yung pag tumanda na yung ating larvae, magiging adult siya, nagta-travel siya sa cecum. And ito yung notable dito, guys. Kaya ito yung sign and symptom niya. Yung babaeng worm, lalabas siya sa anal region at pupunta siya sa perianal region kung saan siya maglilay ng eggs tuwing what? Gabi. Pag hindi gumagalaw yung ating host, okay? Doon siya lumalabas. Gumagala sa perianal folds yung female, tas maglelay ng eggs. Kaya anong gagawin ng pasyenteng merong Enterobius vermicularis or pinworm? Magkakamot siya ng kanyang perianal region pag gabi. So ngayon, kinaumagahan, nagkapaglay na ng egg, bumangon yung pasyente. Tapos syempre yung pasyente mo, bata, di ba? Hindi na naman siya maghugas ng kamay, tapos nakipaglaro siya agad sa mga kapatid niya, yung egg ay nalipat doon sa kapatid. Tapos kakain na tinawag ni nanay para mag-breakfast, hindi naghugas ng kamay, nakain yung egg. O yung kapatid, magkakaroon din ng Enterobius vermicularis. So nakita niyo yung signs and symptom niya, ito yung dinidiscuss sa tanong na to. 'Di ba? Lost weight, quite irritable, tingin ng mother merong worm. Tapos may perianal pruritus. Okay? So ang dinidescribe nga dito ay, okay, yun na nga, Enterobius vermicularis or enterobiasis. Okay? Enterobiasis. So, anong yung question natin dito? The most effective time to perform the diagnostic test on this condition. So, nakikita nyo nurses, from pag-intindi nyo ng pathophysiology, ngayon tatanungin kayo ng diagnostics. Kasi hindi lang naman intervention ang tinatanong, pati diagnostic din. So, ano yung tamang sagot dito? Okay? Ano ang tamang sagot? So, kung ang mother worm, ang babaeng worm ay lumalabas tuwing gabi, expected na naglilay ng egg sa perianal region paggabi. So, ang diagnostic test natin dito is what we call our tape test or clear tape test or transparent tape test yan. So, kukuha ka ng tape, ilalagay mo doon sa perianal region para ma-capture yung egg doon sa tape, scotch tape. Scotch tape talaga yan. Tapos, yun yung i-visualize sa microscope. So, letter A, just following a bowel movement. Guys, pag nag-bowel movement na yung patient, nahugas na ng puwet, meron pang makukuhang eggs. Wala na. Mawawash out na yung eggs niyan. Immediately after meals, paano bago siya kumain? Walang kinalaman yung pagkain dun sa ating diagnostic tool. Pag bumangon yan, nag-change na ng damit, wala na, matatanggal na yung ating mga eggs. At bedtime, before bathing, bedtime guys, gabi. Meron bang egg niyan? Wala. Kasi nga sa gabi siya habang natutulog yung host, doon lumalabas at naglilay ng eggs. So this one is incorrect. So what is the correct answer? Early morning before rising. Hanggat hindi pa gumagalaw yung pasyente, kuha tayo ng Scotch tape test para ma-ensure natin na merong eggs yung ating transparent tape test. Okay? Nakuha yun, nurses? Okay, next question. So that's your enterobiasis. Okay. O, ito naman. Guys. Okay, wait lang. Flip ko camera mo. Okay, guys. Ito tinanong to last board exam. Okay, November 2025. Scabies. Ano daw yung scabies? Bacteria, virus, parasite. So, guys, yan. Dapat, kaya nga sinasabi ko sa inyo, dapat alam niyo yung life cycle. So, it's called a mite. Okay? So, parasite siya, mite, insekto. Okay, na napakaliit. So, review tayo ng konti kung ano yung scabies. So, ito ha, dinidiscuss ko na para hindi na kayo magkamali, hindi na kayo malito. Okay? Okay. So, scabies, ang infectious agent niya is called Sarcoptes scabies. Okay? So, this is called a mite. So, wala lang akong picture dito, pero napakaliit niya, napaka-microscopic. Kaya yung ating diagnostic tool is usually we get a needle, tapos nagsiscrape tayo dun sa lesion ng patient para makuha yung mite, tapos mag-visualize siya sa under ng microscope. So, anong mode of transmission yan? Direct contact with an infected patient or hindi kaya sa fomites. So, yung iyong scabies, pwede kasi siyang mabuhay ng ilang araw, mamaya tingnan natin kung ilang araw, sa isang fomite or non-living thing. Okay? So, ano yung incubation period? Pag nakuha yan, nagkaroon ka ng isang contact, pwedeng 2 to 6 weeks pa mag-develop yung symptoms kasi dumadami pa yung iyong scabies or yung mites. Usually, pruritus and borrowing. So makikita mo, pruritus makating makate, tapos nagbo-borrow. Ano yung borrow? Para siyang nagdibig, para yung, alam niyo yung magsasaka, di ba gumagawa sila ng mga linya sa bukid, di ba? Ganyan yung ginagawa. May linya, no? Fine thread-like lines. Kasi gusto niyang naghuhukay ng balat mo. Kaya napakakati nito. Okay? Ay, nawala. Hindi ko pala nalagay yung iba. So, yan yung scabies. So ngayon, ano yung tanong natin dito? So nurse tests, assess the child, and suspects the presence of scabies. So anong expected mo? So alam mo na nagbo-borrow, di ba? Yung mite o yung scabies. So the nurse bases the suspicion on which finding noted on the child's skin. Anong type of lesion yung makikita mo dyan? Dapat. Okay? So anong type ng lesion sa ating scabies? So di ba nagbo-borrow siya? So fine thread-like lines yan. So, purple-colored lesions, ano yan? Pwedeng pasak, di ba? Thick honey-colored crust. So, ibig sabihin nito, pwedeng, kung hindi ito masyadong classification talaga. Pwedeng ano din to, pwedeng chickenpox din kasi, or pwede ring ibang sugat. So, hindi yan. Letter A, clusters of fluid-filled vesicles. O, pwede rin yang chickenpox. So, anong tamang sagot? Letter B. Okay? So, ituloy ko na yung isa pang question dito. May question tayo kasi related on scabies. Okay? So, ito. So, yung isang ginagamit natin para pampatay ng scabies ay ito, permethrin 5%. Ito yung piniprescribe para scabicide. Okay? Pampatay. Scabicide yan. Pampatay ng scabies. So, nurse test instructs the mother regarding the use of the treatment and tells the mother that. So, meron tayong proper instructions. So, letter A, that the lotion should be applied to areas of the rash only. Letter B, to apply the lotion and leave it on for 6 hours. Letter C, apply the lotion to cool dry skin at least 1.5 hour after bathing, or to avoid clothing the child while the lotion is in place. Okay? So, tignan natin. Sige, nurses, sagot. Last question na to for tonight. Last concept natin to for tonight. Okay? So, last concept for tonight, mag-alas 10 na. Overtime na pala ako. Tignan natin, review tayo. Okay? Scabies nursing management natin. So, kailangan tinuturuan, administer prescribed scabicide properly. Bakit? Kasi nga, usually nagkakamali yung ating mga patients dito. So, anong dapat turuan natin? Apply medication from neck down. Neck down. Hindi lang yung may rashes. buong katawan. Kasi pag sa rashes ka lang nag-apply, pwedeng lumipat lang yung mite sa ibang lugar. Tapos, especially including between fingers and toes, kasi doon sila sumisingit. Anong ginagawa? Leave on skin for 8 to 14 hours, then wash off. So, ilang oras? 8 to 14 hours. Pagkatapos, inuulit natin yan after 7 days. Tapos, ano pa? Wash all clothes, beddings, and towels in hot water and with dry heat. And yung mga hindi naman na tatanggal na items, hindi nalalabhan, sinisil sa plastic bag. Bakit? For 3 to 7 days. Kasi yun nga, yung mite or yung scabies natin, hanggang maximum yan, 3 days lang yan na walang host, mamamatay yan. So kung isisil mo ng 3 to 7 days, okay, sa isang bag na wala siyang host, mamamatay din siya. So trim fingernails, kasi nga makatiyan, pwedeng yung mite mo nasa ilalim ng kuko. So, treat close contact. So, may mga kasama sa bahay, may mga katabing kapatid, lahat dapat nagtitreat. So, reassure that itching may persist up to 2 to 4 weeks after treatment. So, anong ating tamang sagot? Okay? Letter A, that the lotion should be applied to areas of rash only. Again, hindi. Ano nga? Neck down. Neck pababa. And then letter B, to apply the lotion and leave it on for 6 hours. Mali. Ilang hours dapat? 8 to 14, di ba? 8 to 14 hours dapat. Okay. To apply the lotion to cool, dry skin at least 1/2 hour after bathing. So ito, ini-ensure nito na dry yung skin. Kasi bakit? Pag may tubig yung skin, hindi maa-absorb yung scabicide mo sa skin mo. So ito tama. Yung to avoid clothing, hindi naman yan necessaryong gawin. Kasi your scabicide gets absorbed deeply in your skin. Hindi necessary na dapat nakaubad siya. Okay? So anong tamang sagot natin? Letter C. Okay, nurses, nakuha? Nakuha yung concepts natin? Ayan, so that is our last question.